As you've seen throughout the month, it has been the unplanned and the unannounced which has been the fulcrum of every milestone in the Occupy movement. Saturday night, as a piece of tape we played earlier showed, when police clashed with protesters in Times Square, an American veteran of the war in Iraq stood up for the people behind the barricades.
Why are y'all walking like there's a war going on? Nobody has guns! I'm in New York City. I am from New York City, and these cops are hurting people that I fought to protect. There's no reason for this. There's no honor in hurting unarmed civilians, and I won't let it happen.
Sgt Shamar Thomas is a Marine veteran, served 2 tours in Iraq, took part in Fallujah in the second battle. Comes from a military family. Both his parents are veterans. His father served in Afghanistan, his mother in Iraq. It's an honor to have you here, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Why'd you go to Times Square Saturday night, particularly wearing your medals and your uniform?
I initially went to the protest on October 5th, and I saw the police brutality, and it made me want to get involved even more to, you know, the understanding that, you know, we have young men and women out here who are trying to inspire, you know, change. And so why wouldn't I want to be a part of that? So that's, you know, my goal in life is to inspire a generation, you know?
Well, obviously, because as I suggested, this was it was not Sergeant Thomas night on the schedule, and yet it sort of became that. What you were shouting in a way that you could see in the policemen's eyes they were listening and didn't know what to do, and there were people, there were passers-by didn't know what to do, and protesters didn't know what to do, because obviously you were hitting a chord with these people. What were you trying to say? And obviously we have the quotes, we have the tape, we played it, but what was in your mind as you were, you know, expressing yourself in that vocal manner?
Well, I've been to Iraq twice. I've been in, I was in a riot in Rupa, Iraq in 2004, where we had rocks thrown at us, and after the rocks were thrown, we didn't go beating up people and arresting people, you know what I mean? We kind of treated it with a level of humility, you know what I mean? And to have the cops beating, I saw, you know, a cop punching a woman in the face, you know, to see that in my own country, you know, my family fought for this country for people to have a right, and these people are peaceful. I haven't seen a video yet where I've seen them try to hurt the cops. So why are they using batons and sticks? Why are they in riot gear when nobody's trying to riot, you know? Did
you have a sense at the time that they were listening to you?
Oh, I know for sure they were listening to me. I have no doubt in my mind that they were listening to me. I had the fire in my gut, you know, so to speak. Like they knew what I meant. You know, I've been to, you know, on over 50 combat missions, so the intensity is there. They know that I'm telling the truth, you know. They know in their hearts what, you know, what I'm saying is right.
With good reason, in the last 10 years, particularly the New York Police Department has gotten a little militaristic in their point of view, because they now are trained that everything could be fatal, and that's probably a good attitude to have given what happened in 2001. There's an understanding of that, at least where it comes from. However, not every situation is fatal.
Exactly.
And it seemed like you were a cold bucket of water against their sort of fevered, well, what's going to happen now thing, because you actually been in the real thing where it was life and death, and this was not it. And that was what you're trying to get to them?
It's a time and place for things, you know. It wasn't, when the situation arises where you know, the crowd starts getting frantic, that's when it's time to say, you know what, the crowd is getting frantic. When people are just shouting, you know, we are the 99%, come join us, these are not, you know, chants that incite violence, you know what I mean? So why, you know, the riot police were informed, just walking, marching up and down the street like, you know, like it was a battle going on, and I've been in battle. It was no battle going on.
Right.
You
The
know?
other side not only didn't have weapons of any kind, they didn't have the rocks yet. They're not even,
rocks.
There's no stage at that point. Give me your assessment of the messages that are coming from Occupy Wall Street, and are you in favor of them, opposing the corporate greed and holding the banks accountable and supporting the middle class, principally those three?
I support everybody's view. I tell people all the time that I'm not a part of any political party. I'm not a part of any group or anything like that. I'm an American citizen.
Okay, so then what does this mean to you?
What this means to me is that this is our time in our generation to change the greed that is in America. Like both of my parents did 20 plus years in the military, and they have to find jobs now. And it's like, I recruited for the Marines for 4 months, and it's like I taught kids to come join the Marines. So it's like, come join the Marines, and then what are you going to do after you get out of the Marines? You know what I mean? So it's like there's no, you know, there's no place for us to go now. You know what I'm saying? So
is there a place, do you think, in Occupy, in the entire movement, in the protest movement that's beginning in this country, for veterans' rights, and particularly recent veterans' rights, to be addressed? Should there be some more attention paid to this fact?
Well, that's the whole thing with the uniform.
Sure.
That's what I tell people, like, you know, I want to inspire the veterans to come out, because a lot of veterans have this thing where they don't want to speak against the government. They're so, you know, trained, like, oh, no, if I speak out, you know, speaking against the government is wrong, you know what I mean, because we have a chain of command, you know. But I don't think it's about a chain of command. It's about a way of life. You know, you understand what I'm saying? So
chain of command goes both ways. Sergeant Shamar Thomas, U.S. Marine Corps, whose mother, father, grandfather, and great-grandfather also served this country through Iraq and Afghanistan and Vietnam and World War II. Yes. Great thanks to you for your service, to them for their service, and spectacular work on Saturday night.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming in here this evening.
Thank you.
Having accelerated and expanded faster than any other protest group in American history, Occupy Wall Street now addresses the prospect of maybe developing demands and goals and strategies like one suggested last week here by Tom Hayden. Mass, nonviolent arrests followed by each protester arrested demanding a jury trial, gumming up the system. Who better to follow up on that idea than Tom Hayden himself? He's next. This is Countdown.